Hello, good day and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Guru Mafinda. Now on today's show we're not going to be on the little farm, we're going to be over at old Mick Darby's farm. We're taking a bit of a road trip to another gardener. So we're going to go and see Mick Darbyshire. It's quite an extensive journey we're going to be undertaking, so I'll have to walk about 20 feet in that direction to get over to see Mick. Mick's got his own channel, so check him out. It's Old Mick Darby's Farm. The link will be in the description below for that, and you won't be disappointed. He gets up to all kinds of tricks, and it's quite an innovative mix. So there's a lot of shows on his channel where he's actually taking you through all the different hints, tricks, tips, and ways of recycling, repurposing and reusing old items to create new useful items and new useful innovations on the allotment plots. It's a bit like ours, but he's more into it. We've got a lot of tips off Mick over the years, and we've helped each other out. You've probably seen him on here a few times, but yeah, go and check Mick out. He's coming up right now. All right, boys and girls, see you in a bit. Who've we got here? Old Mick Darby from Old Mick Darby's Farm. You alright, Mick? Well. Yeah? We're just down with Mick today, our next door neighbour, obviously, on the little farm. I'm going to have a bit of a plot, so if you've not seen Mick before, it's Michael.
Mick Darby's Farm.
That's him. Old Mick Darby's Farm. The description below will have his link. Yeah. So we're just having a look round. This is my favourite one, this Mick. This is definitely the favourite.
Yeah, tomato rice.
Tomato house. Again, these are just the standard frames. He's extended the frame at the top to make it wider. I think it's around about 10 feet wide now, that.
Yeah, there's just 3 metres by 2 metres. Now I took the frame apart, stood it on its side so it widened it, and then the bars I took out to put in the middle.
Here, we'll have a look. Little porchway entrance, the sliding doors there.
So that bar there, if you put them to turn them the other way and stood them up with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've turned them on the side and then stuck them in the middle just to make it another metre wider.
So we're talking it's 3 metres wide now, this.
Because it was, this is in here because on it costs temporary. This is for tomatoes, obviously.
It's going to be the tomato house.
Boxes there. You go up there. Put these canes, but this year with no grapevine in, so hopefully we're growing some across as well. Just drop a cane in when they grow and just carry them on.
Yeah, let them run over.
Yeah, because we had a grapevine in but it died because I salted outside. Salted the ground.
Ah.
Yeah, these are all seeds were done out to home.
Yep.
But brought them up here because I'm not room at greenhouse because it's too small. So we're doing okay in here. I've been up a couple of days and all that crap. I've got a few in there, sweet peas, red scarlet beans, yard long beans, collie, beetroot, broccoli, cabbage, them, what do they call them?
Flowers, aren't they? Them?
Spring onions, amaranth, love lies bleeding.
Love lies bleeding.
Web lettuce. There's golden acre cabbage. And a giant sweet corn on its own that grows 35 feet tall. That. I'm just growing that for a laugh. 35 feet tall? Yeah. Yeah.
We're touching telegraph wires, won't we, with that?
We'll try it. Them's alright in there. Yeah.
This is a clear twin wall polycarbonate that is wrapped around it.
This is not, this is a bit thicker I think for this door, but it's just
yeah, that's 10mm that, isn't it? And this is 6mm. And you can do your normal greenhouses with these as well. You can sort of re-glass them, re-glaze them with this stuff, and that's what it's designed for. But as you can see, Mick's put these joiners together.
Yeah, but you can't quite get them right on, with it being curved. You can't quite get them right, so it was leaking. So what I've done on top, well, we did it, didn't we, last year?
Yeah, I mean, you did it, didn't we?
We put a piece of poly off a polytunnel and just stuck it over the top, so just for this top part. Cause
Yeah.
It didn't rain in here, obviously, but where it bends, it just rain in these joints.
Yeah, between cracks,
Get
weren't
it
it?
right, but it's right.
But it's totally rainproof now in here.
Yeah, or automatic lifter in there. When it gets warm. And it's got them vents inside. They're just blacky vents what you stick on outside of your washer. No on your ice. So you turn. No more.
Oh,
It's just like airflow through one from one side to the other.
off the dryer, like, yeah.
Outside of your house, you stick them on your wall.
Right.
They're pennies. But one there and one there, and it blows through.
Yeah, it vents it
Just
through,
like-
doesn't
just
it?
lets that vent through. So they don't get too hot.
They do belting in here though, don't they?
Yeah, cracking.
This is my favourite one, this one.
Yeah.
Got the gutters there, he's retaining his water, hasn't he, mate, from the top.
Water box right back. Oh. The fence actually. Yeah, 3 water box there. Put some more there if you have to. Drop them down.
Yeah, they're
And
stepped
then
down.
ones there, come off shed. You're not very far into them 4 or 5, is it?
Oh yeah. So this comes off the shed and then it runs down.
Yeah. So all them barrels there fill up this one shed roof. They're always fun. You just run down one and the other. Because it's on an L anyway, this block, so you don't even have to dig them out, just drop them in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barrels.
There's room for some more if you wanted, but plenty there. Plenty of water. These onions have been empty, so I don't blame them. Sensu onion, no date on them.
Yeah, they're the Japanese overwintering ones, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been in a, like 3 months,
Yeah.
probably. Same with them. They're oh no, they're red then. Red winter onions. So they've been in about the same time as them.
So they'll be something like Electra or something like that, won't they? They're like an overwintering one. Some shallots in here as well, aren't you?
Them's from lots last year.
Yeah.
Just saved some. Planted them in, they just started splitting with that cold. And then these are garlic from last year, a splitters. Kept some cloves and split them, so we put them in about the same time as these onions. So they're going like that.
I showed the folks this last time.
Oh yeah. It's just because there was just the space here and it wasn't a bed here. Because in case I need anything here, so it's just a temporary bed really, but it's just like a big potting thing, isn't it?
It's 15 of the Tesco buckets, cut flower buckets. Mick's just put like a frame around it just to hold them all together. And it's just created a raised bed basically, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's only 4 spuds that anyway. So we've got two spuds in each one of them. Some horse manure at the bottom. Just leave them like that. The rockets then first early.
What do? You put manure in the bottom and then just compost on top and...
Put a dollop of manure in the bottom. Put your spud in. Whack it up with compost.
Whack it up with compost.
Don't bother lifting them up or anything. They keep pretty warm in there. It's black plastic in it, so
Yeah, it'll absorb the heat, won't it?
keeps the heat in. So I've got another one up there like that. In that windmill.
Yeah.
It's just them buckets so easy to do it.
So tell us a bit about these here. These big frames.
These are trampoline. All trampolines there.
Mick was the original inventor of this process, weren't you, Paul?
I don't think
I think you were. I've never seen it before.
But yeah, they're just all trampolines and we've got collecting them, don't we? Off we go. Come back with one and these go. They're pretty easy to do, aren't they?
Yeah. So
Not
you,
rocket science.
the circular trampolines,
Yeah, really
they're dead popular.
Because this is the first one I did, I think. So I didn't do it properly because
Yeah, this is the Wild West wagon, this one.
we've got about 6 frames in this, and you know what I need. It's a bit of overkill, this one. All I did with it is it had 2 beds stepped down. So I just, the legs off the trampoline, I stuck them on, you know, underneath. So it's actually stood on the legs, that 3 frames. So that's 3 trampolines, 12-foot trampolines. But that's one, there to there, and it's got the legs underneath, which stands on its own, that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember that? And then, see it? Oh, there it is. See back on that frame?
Yeah, they're the grounds.
So
Yeah.
them's what legs that you get on the trampoline. That's another way of doing it. You can just stick them in like that, and that's one frame then. But that's the first time I did one, and then we started doing them that way, the easier way.
Yeah, yeah. So for
What do you call him? Heath Robinson, this one.
Heath Robinson. Well, this is the Wild West wagon, this one, isn't it?
It's nice and high, this. We had tobacco in this last year. It's got spuds in this year just for a change, but...
We'll have a look at the tobacco. The prices of tobacco these days is ridiculous. So, Mick's been growing his own last couple of seasons, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Got the idea from Dave at Dave's Allotment.
He did, yeah.
And
Old Dave.
Dave sent us some seeds down, actually. Mick's got the seeds, and I think it's Golden Virginia, is it?
Golden Virginia, we did 2 last year, Golden Virginia and Amber Leaf.
Amber Leaf.
Had some outside and some of that tunnel. But the one in the tunnel got a lot of fly on it, you know, with it being inside.
Yeah.
The one outside was alright. Still smoked, eh? Just battered them off.
But yeah, it all goes around like that, and it's basically it's like a polytunnel framing, but with Mick's put the netting over it, which is the scaffold debris netting or construction debris netting, and that then keeps out the cabbage white butterflies and the pigeons. It keeps the pigeons off.
Keeps a lot of weeds out as well, believe it or not. You know, you're blowing weeds. You get your
Dandelion, yeah.
Get through, but keeps a lot out. When they come in that swarm, they come once a year, don't they?
Yeah.
They all get them. But the bit outside beds are like snow, but in here, just a few. It keeps a bit of weeds out as well.
Yeah.
And they're handy with these for your hanging baskets, so you know that, don't you?
That's
Put
right.
shells in them, don't you? These are like, you can have strawberries or tomatoes or anything. They've got them all the way around.
And they're just slotted.
Yeah.
These are obviously the springs from around the trampoline that give it the bounce. They're slotted. Recycling trampolines is brilliant because the actual tramp part that you bounce on is like weed membrane, so you can put it down underneath. In fact, there's some underneath, I think, on here, and that keeps your perennial weeds down. Keeps the horses' tails down. And bindweed. It doesn't 100% do it, but it keeps them down. It helps to suppress them weeds as you're going around.
A little bit of a trampoline, because you could even use it if the net's in good condition. You could use that as well.
Yeah, the actual net that goes round them keeps the kids in. But yeah, they're brilliant. Mick's got a load of them, these. As you can see, as we're going down, I'm just trapped by this thing. I've been caught and trapped.
It's Henry's pack, that.
Yeah, he's got little feet, Henry, isn't he?
Yeah, 3 feet.
And this stuff, this is the black debris netting, and it's more see-through. You know, it's
yeah, that looks more like it, believe it or not.
The black netted stuff.
This needs blow off it, and it just needs pulling up with cable ties.
Yeah, so you just zip them together, zip tie them together.
But that didn't have many insoles when that wind came. And all that damage. This is for the pea.
Pea bed.
Peas and beans. Peas are one side, beans the other. You get 11 foot, you get an Irish frame, you get 11 foot growing space, so you get 22 foot of growing space. You just need a little bed either side. So you've got 22 foot there. Peas,
For 'em to grow up.
peas, any climbers.
It's a Harris fence that we acquired, isn't it?
It just needs a couple of cable ties.
It needs zipping on, doesn't it?
For your own, whatever. Does the job.
What's that?
That's for the windsock.
The windsock.
It blew off in the wind.
Ironically, it blew off in the wind.
Yeah, it turns, but it must have got all of it and left it. I've got it. It was on your plot, it must have just blew over. But I've not put it back up because I used it for taking that greenhouse home. I tied it to the back, you know, because it was hanging over the back.
Yeah.
Off it went home, but it's in back. Need to get it back up, but I've cut all these off it now. I'll put them back on.
Mick's is like mine, it's a double plot. So standardly you have the one plot which is usually around about 20 feet by about 70 feet, something like that, aren't they, on here? But this is a double one with a central path coming down with a stone on it. And again, the stones help to keep the weeds down, and as they pop up they're dead easy to pull out, aren't they, the stones?
Yeah, I'll just go around with salt.
Yeah, that's where we got the tip off for the salt as well, Mick. So you salt your paths, don't salt your beds obviously, but you salt the paths, and the salt suppresses the weeds because it doesn't let them get a purchase. It sort of dissolves them as they're popping up.
Yeah, once it starts washing in, you're not seeing weeds.
Needs about 2 or 3 coatings if you like, and then you don't have to worry about the weeds for a long time.
Well, watch it don't leach into your bed.
Yes, you don't want it leaching in the beds. We're down at the front now here with a...
There's a bit of the carry up there, that compost wants turning. These are all fruit trees, these. All got the blossom on. Plum over here. That would turn.
That's a plum tree, is it, that one?
This is the first time I've had blossom on this year. It's 3 years old. There's only a little thing I see it, it's about as big as that. So it's the first time it's had blossom on, so I'm hoping for plums this year. Because we had a plum tree there, and it's never done nothing for 5 years, I think I've been on 6 years. It's never done nothing. I had like 2 plums off it, so I chopped it down last year. And this is replacing it, but hopefully there's plenty of plums on there coming. There's one, little one, isn't it?
Yeah, you got the blossoms coming on.
Start growing at the bottom there, swell up. See them growing on.
The only thing you've got to be careful for when you've got your fruit trees is if you get a frost.
Well, that's what I was worried about this week, because we had 2 nights of frost, but it's not affected it.
Yeah, it's not been a hard frost, has it? It must have been a light one.
Hopefully that's the last of it this week.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Our last frost date over where we are is sort of like mid-May, really.
This is our head gardener.
This is Joe.
He takes care of the plots from and all of you.
Oh!
I'm falling now. There we go.
Yeah, there he is. Bit of a scarecrow.
After the last one,
So that's your composting setup, isn't it?
yeah.
Just gets filled up with all kinds.
It's like woody, twiggy, and then that's like all the broken down. We'll just throw all cardboard off the beds and that.
Eventually it'll all break down.
Yeah, give it a go roast down, that water's back on. Start breaking down.
So you know, this is the other greenhouse.
Yeah, because we did this, didn't we? Stick it together.
Yeah, there is a show where we put this together and raise it up as well.
Yeah.
Because it's actually 2 8-foot by 6-foot greenhouses. Yeah, 6 foot into.
8 to 6, yeah.
And it's 2 that are riveted together and screwed together. And it's a cracker. This is the ideal size. This. So when you look at that, that's going to be 16 feet by 6 feet wide. Yeah. And again, he's got the lifters. These are the auto lifters, I think, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, this one's wide open.
When it gets too warm, they pop open.
This side gets warmer, so I'll open up later on. But because this is warmer on this side, this is always open. This one.
Yeah, they automatically lift themselves up. There's some sort of a gas, I think, inside these, isn't there?
It's thing like a thermometer.
Yeah.
It makes a thermometer go up. Is it that?
It's witchcraft, isn't it?
Something in there, like, you know, like a thermometer, a thermometer.
Yeah.
Something like that, it expands in there. The pushes that piston up like an hydraulic.
And you could adjust them as well. You turn these, don't you?
Open them up at different temperatures. But
And that just helps the vent it, because it can get too hot in here. In fact, while we're in here, it feels warm, doesn't it? What temperature is it? It's about 16, 17 degrees, something like that. Whereas outside, it's only about 6 or 7 degrees.
Yeah.
So you get quite a lot more heat inside it. Got some brassicas growing in here as well.
Just over winter, I did them end of last year, and there was a polytum on coal frame just growing away. So when something happened with this, didn't it? Or that glass smashed on that side.
Yeah, when we had the strong winds, the glass came out, didn't it?
These frames back in, it's not a door, just frames screwed together. And then when we got that back, we put them in here and they just keep off. There's broccoli and collie there is. Well, I don't know which is which, but we'll find out.
Find out when they flower.
The different colours, I think that's a collie and that's a broccoli, that's probably a collie. You look at them, slightly different, aren't they?
And these have been in over winter.
So I think that's a collie. These are probably broccoli, these taller ones. We'll find out soon. We'll have some nice early broccoli and collie off then. Because we've got all our other ones in there ready for going in the bed. As soon as this weather box, I'll just shift top on it. It's a bit
stiff at that.
These are all the titivating after winter.
Bit of titivation.
That's it.
And the pumpkin is going to go in here.
This one pumpkin's going in.
Mick's going to go for a giant pumpkin this year.
We were inside here last year, but trouble is, you get to
look at that. Big dome on the top.
You don't get much room enough for weeding and that. So this year what I'm going to do, I'm going to grow the plant in here and put the vine through there and have just the vine in there right round.
He's going to plant it in there. There's lots of nutrition in that.
Yeah, there's bloodfish and bone, chicken manure, some seaweed mix, just everything. I've just filled the bottom so it's full of goodness to keep that watered. Then when that plant comes up, which is about that big now at home, probably that big when it comes, you just feed the vine through there.
So it's going to be growing in here. The vine's going to go through into this dome, and the actual plant will be growing inside here.
Yeah.
All the foliage and the pumpkin will be inside here.
So it's just what keep rain and keep a bit of heat on your leaves and your pumpkin, because they don't like rain on the leaves, but they like plenty of water, which is
ironic, isn't it?
But if you do it outside like this,
so you're going to be watering and feeding that?
And feeding there, plus water in there, because obviously the pumpkin gets its runners.
Yeah, as the pumpkin vine grows, it can actually...
It throws a flower up, it throws a runner down.
Yeah.
And then when you take the flower off, because you don't want it, well, that runner still takes food and water up. So you get that as well.
It'll send the running roots down.
Only once a week, give it a good soak. Feeding here a couple of times a week in water. Because we have plenty of food and plenty eat. Pumpkin. Eat on the pumpkin, feed at the roots.
That's what you want.
It's a bit like a grapevine when you have it in your greenhouse. Put the roots outside, the grapevine inside.
Yeah.
Which is not what I've done there, but...
It's not what you've done. That was when Mick lost his grapevine last year. It was a Pinot Grigio grape. Well, you were getting loads off it, weren't you? Getting loads of
what I did, let it outside,
bunches off it.
And I salted the path. So there you go. Killed the grapevine. So it was outside of the tunnel up there and I salted it. Forgot about it. Because I couldn't see the roots obviously. Because it was under the stone.
Yeah. But that's a new one that's growing. A couple of years time. That'll be taking up the...
We got off that 2 years ago, that cotton. It's just started growing now properly.
Yeah, they do take a while, don't they?
That's what beetroot.
Beetroot in there.
Beetroot and lettuce are going in there, half an hour. And the rest of the veg is in the bed. We've got some carrots in here.
These are ideal for brassicas because it keeps the pests off them.
Yeah, that's our old back door.
Yeah. Double glazed back door.
Well, I'm not expecting them to come through yet, but I think they've just started. There, you see. That looks like a carrot, that's a weed. There, obviously, that looks like a carrot to me. And that one. So, hopefully, there's 3 rows in there. So, hopefully, they've started off. I've just dropped that one, just eating a bit, you know what now?
Yeah, help it propagate.
And it needs the water on it. So, this time I've done carrots outside.
And it's like these are just perfect growing spaces because that's what I want to do with that.
In here too, can't you?
It feels a little bit warmer. It keeps a bit of the wind off as well, so you don't get that wind burn as much. They're just ideal.
It's a match them, don't you? I don't say with this, made it wider.
Yeah, extended it.
Put a pole in the middle. It just makes it wider, that's all.
And I think with this one, you're probably talking about 14 feet wide. This.
Yeah, it's a good long bed in here. So you've got these two.
about 14 by 12.
Which doesn't really need that pathing, really. I'm losing space there, 'cause I have to go over there.
Yeah, you could take that out, couldn't you?
I just need one at the back of this.
Because that's what I'm thinking. With Bradley's cage that we've got over there, I'm extending that one. And that's going to be about 8 feet by 14 feet, that. And it'll be one that you can walk in. So I wanted about this height, really, ideally. It's about 6'6" in here. And, you know, you've got a full growing space. You're not restricted at all. So you can have your crops growing up, your brassicas growing up. Get the tall broccoli in here, no problem. It's not going to be interfered with. Those low tents like we've got over here, if you're growing brassicas that do grow tall, they're not really appropriate. They'll be all right for little cabbages and stuff. Yeah.
When your leaves touch, that's when they get on them and lay their eggs.
That's right. When your brassica plants are touching the netting, even though it's got the netting on, the cabbage white butterfly will stick its little bottom through and it'll lay its eggs on them, and then it, you know, the caterpillars come out and they'll devastate them. They'll just chomp everything down, won't they?
Was it? Nice.
That's a nice little bird, isn't it? Well, that's a little. It's about 2 foot wingspan, isn't it?
Huh?
About a 2 foot 2 foot wingspan on a buzzard.
Yeah.
But all these beds, you're getting potatoes in here.
Finish them off then. There's King Eddie's last at spuds then. One in there. And then here we've got some carrots.
Yeah, here's somebody started earlier.
I've got some carrots in here.
What are they, about 4 weeks?
22nd of the 2nd.
22nd of the 2nd, so it's going to be 5 weeks, isn't it?
5 weeks. We've got Amsterdam Forcing, Chantenay Red, Royal Chantenay,
Royal Chantilly,
Sweet Candle.
the sweet
Four
candle.
different kinds there. They're all bother thinning them out, me. Just leave them in bunches because in this we've got, these are pallet collars. So in that bottom 2 pallet collars there up to there, we've got horse manure. Pure orange stinking horse manure, right? It's wet through, but it's not been rotted down or nothing. So that's in there, see it bulging out. Then in top here we've got vermiculite compost 50-50.
50-50 vermiculite and compost mix.
Compost. So it's just all mixed in, and no food or anything in there. Then underneath that though, sorry, I've got these 2 pipes. It's that one goes across to that corner, and that one goes across to that corner. Do you know what I mean? They're just sat in, so it's like a cross.
Yeah.
Got holes drilled in and parts all the way around, and we fill the water from here, so we water from the bottom. So that manure underneath is always wet through.
Right, so the water goes into the pipe, and there's holes in the pipe.
Well,
So it's underground irrigation, isn't it?
Yeah, if we just take this straight down like that. We'll water these probably once a day, put 2 in each, just at the bottom. So that's just near it.
And that water there is going deep down into
It's
the.
going in the bottom. Because carrots, because they're a root vegetable, they go down for the nutrients with the tap root. There's no nutrients in that, it's all in the bottom, and it's all wet through, and they're going down for water and nutrients. So you're going to keep them watered on top just to stop it drying out. You don't really water them on top, water them underneath, and then them roots will go down, straight down, nowhere else, go down for that nutrients. So
I think that's a cracking idea, that. So all the moisture, the nutrition is at the bottom. The carrot then, the tapering root of the carrot has to go down then to seek it out, to seek out what it needs, really.
If you put food in there, give it food, tomato food or whatever, or you've nothing underneath for it to grow down for, well, you know yourself, they just fart.
Yeah.
More legs than legs of heaven. And that's not what you want that, because it's only a tap root really, a carrot. It's just a fat tap root. Nice colour, but it's a tap root.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's nice tasting, but that's all it is.
He's trying to protect them from the mice, hasn't he?
These are peas, yeah. There's 4 gutters of peas there to go in that oyster. But they've been in underneath it, in the middle, so it's all missing in the middle here. But I've redone, I put some more peas in yesterday, and I put another net on. so they can't get under it. Well, they had yours, didn't they?
They had mine, didn't they? Sweet corn and peas. Well, they didn't have the peas, they had the sweet corn and they had the cucumber, but I'm sure they would have had my peas if I hadn't protected them.
For him, but I'm reluctant to use it for veg because it's got oats and so I'm getting into yours for the beans, so that's why I've not put them in that.
I think you could probably get some of that draft excluder.
There's golden gaps everywhere, it's not like yours. Don't go down.
It's not as aesthetically pleasing as mine.
Oh, just through it on, you know. But if you look, there's golden gaps everywhere. So a nice thing even in here, can you see?
Yeah, they could get in, couldn't they, into there?
Gap there, that little on that wood, so that's why I've not used that. But when they get a bit bigger, then collie and that, they'll go in here. Probably that truck propped open. That back's that's for peppers, that. So a pepper bed needs filling up and some nutrients in it this year again. We've got about 9 peppers in there.
Is that for sweet peppers?
Sweet peppers, bell peppers, chilies. They all go in there. We get 9 in there and that's all we need. So they go in there.
Cool.
And tomatoes are in there. And we've got a square bed under there, but we don't go anything. Probably throw some veg in later on, here some lettuce.
There's a beetroot up there at the top, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a little grow. Yeah, I spotted that before. A little one growing there.
Yeah. Grow anything on here. You know this
Oh, right, this as well. So look.
This is another butt. This one runs off here and then runs into that butt in there.
So it gets filled from the outside.
There for these carrots and that. There's one here as well. Off that other butt.
And you can just fill up with your water.
As much water as I can because I don't like using tap water. I'd rather use rainwater. But I've got coming next week, which is going to help me, a little adapter for my drill. It's only £8, I think. It's just an adapter with an hose either side, what you put on. Stick it on your drill and it's a pump. So I'm going to have it on everything, all the pump. And I'll get the hose, so we'll be able to water better outside.
Ah.
You can suck water about easy, you know what I mean? Rather than keep going up with a watering can, you can just stand there and if you leave your drill running, you can just it's all with rainwater and not tap water.
He does. Tony O'Neill, Simplify Gardening. When I went down,
Pump,
yeah, he has a battery that he carries around, and the pump's attaches to the battery.
This is ideal. It's only a small one. It's just the width of a normal hose, so you get your pressure through your normal hose like you would off a tap. But it just attaches to your cordless drill. It goes on your chuck.
That's fair enough.
So we're trying that next week.
Talking about sustainable energy, he's got the windmills on the go.
Yeah.
We had a bit of messing about with that, didn't we, to get it right? Well, it's right now.
Yeah, we lifted it up and well, it's take 2. We had a Spitfire there, didn't we?
Yeah, had like a normal wind turbine, but that one, there's no wind at all today, so it's not turning. But when there is a wind, it gets caught by the sails and pushes it round. But we put some extra smaller ones in that were made out of the lid of the one of the butts, one of the water butts, and that then assists to grab the wind, and it makes it more efficient. And so the wind turbines are on, and also on the top of Mick's shed here, he's got the solar panels too. We'll have a look at the officer's mess actually. Oh, here's a pond, a little wildlife pond.
I was going to scrape that out, but I don't know if it's frog spawn or not, so I'm leaving it.
Yeah, there could be some spawn in there.
That's another bed out of them buckets, that's for the spuds, pink fir apple in there.
Pink fir apple potatoes in there.
That's just these weed in it, that's a herb bed. Some chives at the back there, can you see it? Living in a
Yeah.
here. Got nice flowers on there. And I've got some herbs at home that I've planted now, so they're going to go in there. Get weeded out and some herbs in. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, this is the officer's mess. This is the extension to the original shed. Mick's original shed's down there.
Yeah.
And this was all built out from that original shed. You can see there's the old RAF, that's a Canadian Spitfire up at the top.
English kettle though.
Oh, we'll get it kettle on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just, I just built this on when that lockdown was on. They shut the shed up there, so I needed a shed, didn't I? Comfortable shed, so That's just a normal shed with all bits and bobs in. And then I just added this on end.
And again, this is the polycarbonate, but it's the sort of 10mm polycarbonate for the roof.
And the solar panels. One there. That's 100 watts and that's 120 watts.
And that again feeds in to the power system. It goes through that wind and solar hybrid system controller. That goes out, feeds into the others. And then that goes into the inverter there, gets transferred into usable energy, but also feeds down into the batteries. And there's a bank of batteries that Mick's got inside here. I think there's about 3 or 4 batteries inside there, isn't there?
There's there's 4 big ones, and then I've got them 2 small ones off Henry, you know, for a wheelchair.
Yeah, wheelchair
12
batteries.
volt batteries, but they're only small. So I just any time somebody gives me a battery, I just add them on.
They're set up in a relay, all connected together, and it's all for storage. It's got 13.8. Is that watts? No, volts, isn't it? 13.8 volts.
That meter there tells you what it's been doing. That underneath, that tells you what it's been doing in the last 24 hours, and the watts it's been pushing on, pulling in.
Because it's a dual one, you've got the wind and the solar, you're doubling your chances of actually getting energy, aren't you? Getting storage.
You just need a river and then.
Yeah, we want a stream, don't we?
If we had one of them plots down there, they've got a river.
Yeah.
We should all have free electric down there.
Down at the bottom end,
yeah.
There is a river that runs past that. You could have water mills, water turbines down there.
Right.
Anyway, we're having a brew, me and Mick. We'll catch you in a bit.
See you later.
Mick's just having a fiddle there. This is another one of those where the pipe feeds through.
Yeah. So it just comes through from them 3 boxes, well that M1. And water comes out here.
So it's
blockage on that side, but
the pressure of the water that's in
I'll
there.
tell you what it is, that's been further down, doesn't it, obviously?
Yeah.
It's not got all that, they're all wrong.
Yeah, it's got to be low.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it's coming through now.
We'll just fill our buckets here.
Just leave it trickling, and that'll fill them up. So you don't have to keep coming outside, you just fill them up from here, the water.
Make it easy.
So what are these then, Mick? These boxes?
No, more boxes or something.
Ammo boxes.
Yeah, get my fint in it. Deliver them. But I don't know what the flower boxes Henry got then. His sister moved from her house, I think. Her husband or something.
Reuse, repurpose, recycle, that's what you
They're
want.
not full of compost. There's bricks in the bottom for drainage. There's holes in. And then there's only that much compost in because tomatoes don't get big roots really.
No, they don't need them.
Go out.
They need the feed, don't they? But
There's 4 tomatoes in each. You see there's 4 canes on. So there's 16 tomatoes in here, but also, if we need any more, we've got these here for putting them in pots.
what varieties are you doing this year on the tomatoes?
Tigerella,
Tigerella?
black cherry, moneymaker, beefsteak one, 2 beefsteak ones, I can't remember the names, the big beef ones.
What's that giant one you was on about?
Gigantio,
Gigantio.
should be about that big hopefully.
Yeah, they grow the size of a pumpkin, don't they?
A giant one, which is just called giant. It's an Italian pear, yellow pear tomatoes.
Yeah.
Well, I try to do a different one for every one, so 16 if I can. But I don't think I've done 16 this year, but I'll just double up. So that one either side, you know what I mean?
What are you going to put in these hanging?
From last year. Eh?
What are they going to put in the hanging baskets?
These are Tums and Tom will be in here.
Yeah.
Small.
Cherries.
One.
Cherry bush.
Yeah. Put 2 of them in there. And that'll be it in here. Yeah, that's it for water. Don't need to go outside.
Yeah, it's a good little setup this, I like it in here. Good. Yeah. Alright, good stuff. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be looking into getting a microphone so that people, you know, like the Wise Old Elf and Tip Top Terry and Mick, you can hear them better, because I've noticed that when I'm filming on my camera, which is actually my phone, that's what I use, we haven't got that sort of production money. You don't tend to pick up other people's voices as well, so bear with us with that. That is something that we're going to be sorting out over the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks to get something, you know, to make that quality better and the pickup better. But yeah, that was Magical Mick Darbyshire from Old Mac Darby's farm. Now, you can go and check Mick out. He's got quite a few videos up. He's coming up to about 800 subscribers at the moment as well. So go and give him your support and tell him I sent you. All right, guys. See you in a bit. Keep growing with your heads down. I'll catch you over the weekend. I've got 2 or 3 more that I'm going to be filming over the weekend. And remember, just keep growing with your heads down. It's up there. Look after yourselves and each other. Toodle pip. Have a good one.